Right, welcome to the show. It's Talk Sport on Global Television, and we'll be looking at a very exciting stories making the rounds. Udis Samuel and I will be taking you through all the big stories making the rounds. We'll be looking at the Super Eagles taking on the Eagles of Mali. What played out, we'll get to know. And also, last night it was big international matches as the Three Lions of England also played the Red Devils of Belgium in a very, very pulsating game. And not forgetting the big match between the Samba Boys of Brazil taking on the Spaniards. Also, that was a very exciting game. Then other big stories in between we'll be sharing with you on today's edition of the program Talk Sport. And we'll begin dishing out all these big stories after this break. Stay with us. All right, welcome back from that very long break. It's time for us to talk sports. Let's begin from the story that concerns the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Not so good a story, but we're going to begin from there. Like I said, I'm not alone. I've got Udi right in the studio as we look at bringing in all the big stories in the exciting world of sports. Good morning.
Good morning, Don Antonio. Good morning, viewers. It's actually amazing to always, be here with you guys every morning to talk sport.
All right, let's talk sport. Let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Not too pleasant talk, but the Super Eagles suffered a 2-0 defeat to Mali in their second game of the international break. And it was a second audition for George Finidi on the international break. They looked impressed in their first game under Finidi, defeating Ghana. But against Mali, they looked quite ordinary. Unlike the game against Ghana, the players were unable to build out from the back as Mali employed a high line, which worked quite well as the Super Eagles were destabilized. Let's give you some of the ratings of the players. Stanley Nwabali, it said he got 6.5% over 10. Nwabali had a decent game against Mali, although he conceded 2 goals. He had a decent showing. He did not make any errors that cost the team. Let's look at Nwabali, the fact that first time he's conceding 2 goals since he made his debut for Nigeria. He didn't cause any error that led to the goal. What does that tell us as regards the backline of the Super Eagles?
And it shows that the backline of the Super Eagles need to do more work, and then to avoid, strikers, attackers getting room to, put our goalkeeper in a very uncomfortable situation that will lead to him conceding goals. So the backline of the Super Eagles needs to be paid more attention to. So it wouldn't be, if we don't have certain players on ground, the ones we have on ground wouldn't be able to do the job. So, and that aspect that, whoever the coach is going to be, but for now, Finidi George is our, acting coach. He needs to pay more attention on the back line to be able to figure out where the loopholes are, and then they won't be considering goals like this in a friendly match.
All right, we've got Semi Ajayi also had a 6 over 10 in the rating, and we've got talking about the West Brom man had a game to forget. He, alongside the other 2 defenders, could have done better. His lack of communication with the other 2 centre backs did cause lots of issues for the Super Eagles. Chidozema is one of those players in the defense line. Do you think probably the fact that some of these players are playing together for the first time also did cause some of these issues, these mistakes we saw in the Super Eagles conceding some flimsy goals?
Yes, it actually contributed to that, because I feel like there's no chemistry within those guys yet. There's no chemistry, and then there are a few changes that were made. So those changes that were made, I felt is part of the reason why the Super Eagles had, a disconnection during the play, and then there was no proper communication in the back line. Even they were not even able to build as usual, as they usually build from the back all the way to the attacking front. So all of this now, it's part of what contributed to Super Eagles losing last night.
Okay, let's look at Chidozema. And lots of people always wondered why he's always on the bench, and he's consistently always invited to the team, but never breaking into the team. He had a 5 over 10, and he led to one of the goals in Malian score because he gave a very wrong pass. Is it time for Chido to be left out of the national team? Because it seems like those kind of players, they say, plays good in the club side, but for the national team, never gets to break into the team.
Yeah, like it's just, if you make a team now, it all depends on you, on what you perform, on what you, the level at which you perform, and what you bring to the table. Chidozie has been gotten invites. He's one of the frequent Super Eagles players that has been getting invites to come represent the country, but he has not been performing on that level at which he performs in his club side. So I think now is actually a time for him to be, maybe not to be looked into anymore, and then look into someone else that can come and actually, do the job that you're being called for. Because it doesn't make any sense if you keep getting called upon and then being there and then another person not getting called upon, and yet you're not performing. That doesn't, tell well for the team and for the coach as well. So I would say he should just maybe take a back seat for now, and then let another person be given an opportunity to perform, and then see what happens afterwards.
All right, we're looking at the Super Eagles ratings. We've got Jamilu Collins, someone who used to be the preferred left back for the Super Eagles before Zaidu Sanusi took over his number 3 jersey. And yesterday he had the chance to stake a claim for a comeback, but he performed quite not too good. 5/10 it was his performance. And reports which tells us he had a very bad day at the office. He had misplaced passes, couldn't mark his opposition well, and did not do good to deserve a regular starting in the Super Eagles. What, do you think his lack of confidence that's affecting Jamilu Collins? Because we know he used to be a very, very effective left full back.
Yes, Jamilu Collins used to be very, very effective, very, very useful. Well, very good timing with the ball, very good attacking and then defending as well. So out of nowhere, he kind of dropped. So I think he needs to find his fitting back, and then be able to get back to the winning ways that he once were in, and then to be performing right, because now most of the attacks came from his wing, because the Malian side figured that, okay, that's like a loophole, so they kept coming from the right, and then they were able to like break the first deadlock from that angle. So they looked at where they saw it's like a walk away for them, like a free walk in the park. So they just kept pressurizing, and then it led to the opening. And then more second goal now came in. So he should like go back to his winning ways and then work on himself, get himself back on the fitness level to continue, performing.
All right, a very sad story for Jamilu Collins, who couldn't stake a claim for his left full back position in the absence of Zaidu Sanusi. All right, we're looking at Raphael Onyedika, who also scored a 6/10 in terms of rating. Onyedika also struggled in the game. Finidi's plan was to break the press and open up chances for the attackers and the team to move up front, but Onyedika couldn't quite get his game on. Let's look at Raphael Onyedika. This was an opportunity for him also to stake a claim, but he quite struggled.
Yeah, a lot of our players actually struggled this period, like in this just concluded game last night. I don't know why that happened, but they struggled a lot. I don't know if it was nerve or they were not confident enough, because now, like we said before the match started yesterday, we said all those positions are literally vacant. That's why they're all wearing jerseys without their name on it. So you're fighting to get a jersey, you're fighting to get a place. So at this level at which they performed yesterday, obviously Finidi George, if he should be retained as a coach, he wouldn't want to, be having them. He would just need to start looking all over again for players, despite the fact that most of the players that are meant to start were on injuries and they were not around. So we wouldn't give all of that to injury and the players that were not around. We had other players that were on ground. Why didn't they perform properly? So that's the question they need to answer, why they did not perform properly. And, definitely they can't stake a claim. You can't stake a claim for a jersey with at this rate of performance. Yes.
All right, just to let you know that Wilfred Ndidi also didn't do quite good. He also scored 5.8/10. He had a lot of misplaced passes, wasn't good as to his ability and what we know he can do. Then Bright Osayi Samuel, who plays for Fenerbahce in Turkey, did too much. At times he overdid himself and was caught in possession a few times. Osayi struggled for most part of the game. Can we say the whole team had a bad day? Osayi, Wilfred Ndidi, everybody seemed to be struggling. And also, Kelechi Iheanacho also had 6/10. Looked also offline at the final third when it matters most for him to strike. He just either ballooed the ball or just misplaced his shot, or just couldn't just get the job done.
Like I can't just understand or place my hand on what exactly happened to the Super Eagles yesterday, because that's not the Super Eagles that we actually saw playing against Ghana. And it was I just felt like, they were not just ready, because the whole team did not perform. And I didn't know why they did not perform. The whole team did not perform. It was, it was a shame of the kind of performance that they had. So I think they need to, always be at their best. They need to always be at their best, be it friendly, be it whatever. It's not when you're playing this certain country that you go all out and then when you're playing a certain country, you just, you know, relax and then sit back. This is football. You have to always come out to like perform. And this is an important stage for, it's called friendlies, but this is a stage where teams rebuild and then know who is to go further and who is not to go further with the team. So this performance is actually not so good. It wasn't impressive, and it was unlike the Super Eagles.
All right, a very sad commentary. The Super Eagles couldn't get the job done. They lost the second friendly against the Eagles of Mali. Let's go to the foreign scene and talk about the Three Lions of England. Yes, let's give you the story that Jude Bellingham rescued blundering England from ignominy of its second straight loss with a last-gap equalizer at Wembley. That's the man there. The Real Madrid star scored with virtually the final kick of the game as England, who lost to Brazil on Saturday, clinched a late draw against Belgium. But England's performance was marred by two costly errors from goalkeeper Jordan Pickford and defender Louis Dunk, both of which led to Yuri Talisman firing Belgium ahead. Speaking after the game, England saviour Bellingham said, "I know the rubbish, according to him, would have got if we had lost 2 games on a bounce. You have to keep a perspective in mind with these games. There's a lot of lads making debuts, and a lot of those boys I have played with before. We created a lot of chances, and I had one where I should have scored and a couple of other shots at goal. I'm happy I can make it up to the team, but we are already really should be winning with the chances we've made." Let's look at Behe. So it looks like it's not just the Super Eagles missing their chances and not having a good day at the office. We have the Three Lions of England also losing the first game. But against a big team like Brazil, it's okay to lose. Then against Belgium, playing out a draw. How would you rate the Three Lions of England? Is this exposing the fact that England might not be as good as we think they are?
The thing is, I think it still boils down to chemistry, because all of these players individually in their club side are actually, you know, the rock behind the club. They, you know, tend to push their club forward. So I would say they've not just found their fitting yet, they've not found their chemistry yet, but they were still able to, you know, salvage a draw, despite the, you know, silly errors that happened with the goalkeeper and the defender. But they were able to just fight and then not have a back-to-back lose. They lost one and then they drew one. So it's actually good that despite the fact that they've not found their fitting, they've not found, you know, the chemistry that they need to be able to win more games and face any kind of team that they need to face, but they were able to, you know, salvage a draw. Kobe Mani was able to, you know, perform at a high level, which he always does. He never disappoints. He performed properly and then, you know, was able to defend and also give some crucial passes that was able to lead to Jordan Bellingham's second goal, so which was very, very amazing. Ivan Toney was also at his best. He got the first goal from the spot kick, and all of that helped the team to salvage a draw. So definitely they are going to find the fit in Euros. It's around the 2024 Euros around the corner, and by the time they build that chemistry, in the few weeks that is remaining before the game starts, the competition starts, I'm sure they would, you know, be able to be the contending team that they are in Europe.
All right, let's hope the Three Lions will be able to get back on their feet and do the needful. But let's looking at those who made the debut, Ivan Toney, Manu, the fact that they impressed, and a lot of pundits have said Ivan Toney deserves to be in the Euros 2024 team for the Three Lions because he has what it takes. He's calm under pressure. He can carry the team when we've got Harry Kane not there. And for Manu seems to be the missing link for the Three Lions. What does the future hold for these two black players, so to say?
Yeah, these players are actually on their level individually. They are excellent players, right? So a coach that's looking for, you know, that's a winning coach that needs leadership and someone who can like go all out for a team wouldn't see a player like Kobe Mani and then want to drop him, despite the fact that he's still very young. And again, you cannot see a player like Ivan Toney who is hungry to play and also drop him. Like you said earlier, he's calm under pressure when he was needed to, come take the spot kick. The spot kick, a lot of people see it as, something really easy, but that's like a very defining moment, a very crucial moment for a player and a team. Harry Kane not being around has given him an opportunity to prove himself, and he has been able to do that in the game last night against Belgium. So even if, he wouldn't be the starting man, the starting striker, he should be on the roster for Euros 2024. Kobe Manu as well should also be. Obviously, he's on the roster. He won the man of the match, award after the game. So I'm so excited for these two players because, they've made their mark, and then the future is looking good for them with England.
All right, future looking good. And talking about spot kick not being easy, one man will tell you how difficult it is. His name is Dan James. Let's say that the anthems rang out into the night sky, relating that Wales would give until the last for them to make it to the Euros, but that wasn't the case as they lost out to Poland in the qualifying. Dan James, who missed the last of the kicks, was left with a kind of agony that a few professionals know. There will be no Wales bucket hearts in the bars of Berlin and Munich this summer. Wales minds were willing, their defense absolutely resilient, and the red wall indomitable to the last. There was even a rendition of Mayhem word for you before the kicks ensued, but really it was the absence of a moment of genius before that penalty jeopardy, which cost Wales. Not long before the end of the extra time, a free kick materialized in kind of a place where Bale would generally step up to dispatch them on these occasions. Meanwhile, Harry Wilson sent it into the wall. It wasn't the first time. For just one moment, a little after halftime, the Welsh nation collectively held its breath and watched a ball head towards the goal, which might have also sent the team to Germany. Three good headed chances came and went for more. His angles were askew when the first presented itself in the first half. Let's look at how bad, how much pain with the Welsh people feel not getting to the Euros, despite how resilient their team was, and the coach Robert Page has done a great job. We know this Manchester United player that plays for Scotland. His name Tommy
McNaughton.
Yes, he's been scoring goals, but he couldn't save Wales.
Yes, he couldn't save Wales because it just happened. Football happened to them yesterday because they had chances. They even scored a goal, but it was cancelled by the VAR. So it was just a bad day in the office for them. They tried their best, and the Wales FA gave Paige Roberts an ultimatum for him to qualify to the World Cup. If he doesn't, then it's going to be a bye-bye for him. So it's actually a sad one for Wales generally, and also a sad one for Mr. Page. So Daniel James's miss, it's something that broke him. He was devastated because that would have given them an upper hand for, them to advance and go to Germany. But it is what it is. They lost, and then definitely they will try again next time. So this is should boost their momentum, despite the fact that, they didn't win. They should go and then with high spirits, strategize, get a better coach, and then, bring something different to the table. And then hopefully in the next Euros, they'll be able to go represent and then fly their country flag.
All right, a very sad commentary. They will not be at the Euros in Germany, but let's hope that better things are going to come for Wales national team. All right, we'll go for a very quick break. When we return from the break, we'll be looking at other sports. Stay with us. All right, welcome back from the quick break. You're still watching Talk Sports on Global Television, and we're looking at all the big stories making the rounds, especially with highlights as regards to what played out last night in all the big matches played in the international window. And the Super Eagles of Nigeria did lose 2-0 to the Eagles of Mali. A very sad occurrence there. But let's move on to some other big stories making the rounds. And Cristiano Ronaldo's iconic number 7 Portugal shirt is handed to a new player for the first time since 2007. That's one of the big stories we're looking at. Just to let you know that a new star became just the second player, apart from Cristiano Ronaldo, to wear Portugal's iconic number 7 shirt since 2007. The 39-year-old star was rested after playing for Al Nassr, despite being named in Roberto Martinez's 32-player squad for the Euro 2024. Ronaldo is currently enjoying a lavish family holiday in Saudi Arabia with his family to rest and prevent injuries ahead of what could be his final major tournament in Germany this summer. Portugal faced Sweden in a resounding 5-2 triumph during an international friendly at the Stadio Dom Fonso in Guimarães without their star man. Portugal still managed to get 5 different goal scorers onto the score sheet, including Manchester City's Matthew Nunes. Braga's winger Broma etched his name into Portuguese history books, donning the revered number 7 shirt. Yes, that's his name there, talking about Braga's winger Broma making history wearing number 7 shirt. A privilege reserved almost exclusively for Cristiano Ronaldo since 2007. Boma stepped into the spotlight, filling the void left by absence of the iconic number 7 forward, landing himself on the score sheet. Although starting the match on the bench, Broma made a significant impact after being brought on by manager Robert Martinez in the second half. He scored Portugal's 4th goal following an assist from Bruno Fernandes. Broma, who has previously expressed his admiration for Ronaldo, described him as his biggest idol and a role model for young players. However, with Ronaldo expected to return to the squad against Slovenia, Broma is likely to return to his usual number 17 jersey. Meanwhile, AC Milan star Rafael Leo opened the scoring during the clash before Manchester City's recent recruit Matthew Nunes doubled their lead. Manchester United's keeper Fernandes scored before assisting the new number 7, and Benfica's Goncalo Ramos sealed the win. All right, let's look at this interesting story. Cristiano Ronaldo, for the first time, Cristiano Ronaldo's jersey given to Broma to wear since 2007. How big is that responsibility? But even the young man Broma did score on his debut of wearing that jersey. And for Ronaldo, he's chilling right now, only to return for the main tournament in Germany.
Yeah, it's actually, it's been long, I think 17 years, if you should say 2007 till now, it's about 17 years for that man, Cristiano Ronaldo, to be wearing that jersey. He has worn that jersey with honor and pride and has delivered for both his country with that same number 7 and also in club side that he has played at. So, Broma now coming in is a very young and talented player who is, performing. He is more like the second Ronaldo for Portugal. And then it's very amazing that he started off with that jersey yesterday and as well, scoring a goal, getting an assist from Fernando. So that is very amazing. I commend him and I'm happy for him, and I'm sure he's very happy with himself that he was able to have that achievement on the first day of wearing that jersey, given the fact that probably when Ronaldo comes back, he's going to hand over the jersey back to him. But for now, he's keeping the jersey warm for Cristiano Ronaldo while he's out there having a very wonderful time with his family.
Do you think there are several times when we've heard this is going to be the last tournament for Cristiano Ronaldo, but he comes back stronger? Do you think Euro 2024 in Germany should be his last for his own good and for the good of his reputation?
I would say he should, take the last one. For me, this should be his last because he's been playing over and over and over again. He needs to give room, for other young players to come into Portugal as well and play. Despite most of them will want to be with him and then have a feeling of like being in the same locker room, changing room with the icon Cristiano Ronaldo. Well, he should take his 39, soon to be 40, so he should, you know, look at health-wise and, you know, for the sake of his reputation and all, he should just, you know, play the last and then start thinking about retirement. But the thing here is he wants to play football with his son.
Yeah, he loves football. Let's see how that is going to pan out, if it will ever come through when Ronaldo will be in the same pitch with his son. Yeah. Meanwhile, we're still talking CR7. Cristiano Ronaldo fumed as he left the pitch following Portugal's 2-0 defeat away to Slovenia in a friendly on Tuesday night. The 39-year-old superstar sat out the previous game against Sweden, which took Roberto Martinez's side to 11 straight wins under his control. But Ronaldo returned to start the game in Ljubljana. However, second half goals from midfielder Adam Serene and Timi Elsnik ensured that Slovenia got a surprise victory over Portugal, leaving Ronaldo unhappy. Footage showed the Al Nassr star storming off the pitch at the end of the game. Portugal had 10 shots during the game, 2 of which fell to Ronaldo's way, but they were unable to convert any of their chances and became undone by the resilient performance from their host, who will be in England's group at the Euro 2024. Let's look at Ronaldo. Doesn't like to lose, but losing against Slovenia, a very tactical side. How do you see this playing out? Ronaldo always storming out every time his team or country is on the losing side.
Ronaldo is a leader, and I don't know why he behaves like that whenever he loses. You know, losing is part of sports, and it's, you know, it's just a way for you to build. He's a leader in the team, so if this team is losing, they need someone to, like, you know, keep them calm and then boost their spirit for the next game. But him filming up and then leaving like that now, it's just more like you throwing in the towel and saying, okay, I'm done with this, I'm not going to do it again, but you say come back. So there is no room for him to lose. Yeah, you lose, that means you just go back and rebuild, and then not just film up, get emotional about the whole thing and then do nothing about it at the end of the day. You just need to, you know, get it right with his teammates, so he keeps winning. Since he's a winner and he hates losing, he just needs to get it right with his teammates, with the coaching staff, and then they bring more strategies to the table on how to win. But Slovenia, again, is a very tactical thing, and they are performing well, they have good qualities of players. So if you lose to teams like that, it's, you know, it's not so good, but still, you should, like, know and be prepared ahead of time that, yes, the people I'm going to face, the team I'm going to face are actually very tactical, and then you just bring something new, something different out of the bag, and then use it to, you know, try to tackle whatever they bring to you.
All right, we're done with international football for now. Maybe somewhere along the line we'll go back. But let's talk about Old Trafford. They were taken to Manchester United. We're signing as Manchester United intensifying contact with Brazilian star amid competition from Premier League clubs. Talking transfer matters, Manchester United have stepped up the approach for Brazilian international ahead of the upcoming transfer window. According to reports, the Red Devils are set for the first transfer window since Jim Ratcliffe's takeover of the club was officially ratified, with the billionaire overseeing United's football operations. After a period of malaise in Erik ten Hag's second season at the helm of affairs at Old Trafford, there is great anticipation over how the club will look to strengthen during the off-season to bounce back and mount for more concerted challenge at the top. Let's tell you that as such, the Red Devils have been linked with a number of transfer targets ahead of the market opening. One of those is a Brazil international who has drawn widespread praise and admiration from some of United's Premier League rivals. But reports claim that the club have looked to steal the match on their opponents, and claims that the United have intensified contacts with Juventus star Gleison Bremer, hoping to jump to the front of the queue ahead of the summer. Bremer made the controversial switch from Torino to crosstown rivals Juventus in the summer of 2022, and he's since gone on to be a key part of Allegri's resurgence of the Old Lady of Turin. He has featured for the Bianconeri 72 times in the period, with Juventus currently third in the league, 2 points off AC Milan in the second, but a whopping 17 short of first place there, Inter Milan. So let's look at United and transfers. We've heard United talk about bringing in coaches also in terms of Zinedine Zidane to take over from Erik ten Hag. We've heard different coaches to replace Ten Hag. But now we're also looking at players. How key? We saw when there was a takeover in Chelsea, Todd Boehly brought in so many players without the concept of a coach. And we saw how it's still affecting the Blues. What do you think is going to, the way Man U is going about it, how careful or cautious should they be?
Manchester United, they've not had the best of seasons so far. So, and definitely, at first they said they were not going to spend so much and all, but now they are beginning to see reasons why they need to get players. So, for you to be competitive and for you to be on the top 5 or top 10 in the Premier League, you need to have qualities that will be performing day in and day out. So this move now for Bremer is actually a good move by Jimmy Ratcliffe. And again, it's going to be amazing and it's going to be nice if he's going to go through the normal process, that is, going through the coaching staff and the tactical team before advancing to getting a player, not just doing that because, yes, I have the money and I'm the owner, you just go ahead and get whoever you please. It's going to affect the team. Now, Chelsea suffering what they are suffering is because of the way Todd Boehly went ahead and just, chartered players. He chartered good quality of players, true, that's very correct. But he did not have who is going to manage these players. That's where Chelsea are. Who is going to put this together, put that, bring this, bring that, and then all of them will tend to work to achieve that goal of winning games and then maybe getting trophies, which is the end result that is expected. But if it doesn't work out well with Jimmy Ratcliffe and then just bringing players like that and not going through coaches and then sitting down to decide who is the right person we should buy or get transferred to us during the transfer windows, they will end up suffering more than what they're suffering.
All right, let's just take one more story before we call it a wrap. It was Spain 3, Brazil 3. Yesterday was a big one. Brazil's Luca Paqueta scored a penalty deep in added time to rescue a fortunate 3-3 draw with Spain in an all-ill-tempered friendly at the Santiago Bernabeu on Tuesday. The hosts dominated proceedings early on, and youngsters Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams were a constant menace running in the channels. It was the 16-year-old Yamal who earned Spain a contentious penalty in the 12th minute as he went down under a challenge from Yao Gomez after fine individual play on the right wing. The replay showed there was minimal contact, but the referee pointed to the penalty spot and there was no VAR in operation to check the decision. Let's look at Spain-Brazil 3-3. That was a very pulsating game. We saw youngsters Nico Williams and Yamal, who plays for Barcelona, very key for Spain.
It was a battle of the youngsters.
The youngsters. We also saw some older players who are claiming a second claim for Ballon d'Or in the future, like Dani Olmo in the team. Spain, Brazil, what does that take us as where the new force of power of football is going to be heading next, especially with the eye to the World Cup in 2026?
Yes, Spain, Brazil, those two countries have always been a giant when it comes to football. Looking at, their history from Brazil, Roberto Carlos, Ronaldo, Kaká, Robinho, all of them, Van der Sar. We're looking at Spain now, we've had, likes of Xavi Alonso, Iniesta. So these are giants. So whenever you mention football, Brazil and Spain are actually going to come out like top 5 because of the qualities they've had and then the qualities that they keep producing. So I was not surprised by what I saw yesterday, by the result I saw, because it's not, none of this team is an easy nut to be cracked because they kept going back and forth, with skills, creating chances from the back end all the way to the front, and the youngsters that they have also performing on a high level and then showing that, yes, we are here and then we are here to stay. We are not going away anytime soon. They perform on high levels for their countryside. for their club side, and they are also doing the same for their countryside. So it's just amazing to see, what these kids' work ethics are, and then the results keep showing. So I'm just happy for the future of football worldwide.
All right, we're going to end the program on this note. I want to say thank you for joining us throughout TalkSport this morning as we looked at a very interesting talking points, especially the international window where matches were played. Unfortunately, our darling Super Eagles didn't win. We lost 2-0 to Mali. Very sad occurrence, but not bad. For you, what's your take as regards the Super Eagles not being able to get the second win on the bounce?
Like, I don't know what just really happened, but it was very, very, disappointing for the Super Eagles not to even get at least a goal, a consolation goal, even if we don't get to win. Just like the Ghanaians did, they were not able to win, but they were able to get a consolation goal. So at least we would have gotten that. But them not like performing at the level at which they always perform is something that needs to be, paid attention to. So it wasn't. I was not impressed by their performance yesterday, and I expected more. I went out with high spirits to watch the game, but I went back home with low spirits. So,
all right. So sad, but that's where we're going to call it a wrap on today's edition. Thank you for joining us on Today Talking Sports. My name is Anthony Momodu, and my co-anchor.
My name is Samuel Odi. See you tomorrow, where we'll bring you more exciting, edition.